Well, hello everybody. It is 12 a.m. in Paris after another day of Olympic action, 6 p.m. in the east, 3 p.m. Here in the west, and just past noon in French Polynesia, where we once again have the final event of this Olympic day still going on, the surfing competition taking place in French Polynesia, and that is continuing as we begin our live stream recap of day 2 of these Olympic Games, our 5th straight day of live streaming out of 19 total days on these Olympics. And I think that the best way to sum up this day of action, and we'll obviously get into the specifics a lot more, but I think the best way to sum it up would be a very, very good day for Team USA.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that there's so many places that we could start, but Zach, I think that we have to start with one place. And by the way, it's me, Colin. Zach's here with us too. Charlie may or may not be popping his head in today. No Morris today. Also make sure if you want our thoughts on previous Olympic days of action, you can go rewatch all of our live streams except for yesterday's. If you watched it yesterday, you'll understand why we had some copyright issues with that one that we're trying to get resolved. So we're going to try to get that one back up as soon as possible. But all the others, you can go back and listen to our thoughts on it. We especially had a great conversation about the opening ceremony 2 days ago, so make sure to go check that out. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter at C&C Talks Podcast. Join us on Discord at cctalks.com/Discord and all the other usual information about our podcast. So, Zach, I think that the one place that we just absolutely have to start today is something that if you're here in the United States, you likely were not awake for this, and that was the gymnastics qualifying. It was women's gymnastics qualifying today, and oh my God, the United States!
We crushed everybody. Yeah, it was incredible.
That's an understatement. Like, seriously, this was just an absolute joy to watch as an American. Even if I wasn't American, it was beautiful to watch what this gymnastics team was able to do. Of course, led by Simone Biles, who had herself a magnificent day.
Record
the team results, the United States finished number 1 in the qualifying going into the team competition final on Tuesday. Good 5 points ahead of Italy, China, and Brazil, who are next in that area. And then in the all-around results, 3 of the top 4 athletes were American. Simone Biles, Suni Lee, obviously the reigning all-around champion, and then Jordan Childs, who, Zach, the Olympic rules state that the top 24 gymnasts qualify to the all-around final, except there can be no more than 2 per country, which means that Jordan Childs, who finished 4th best in the world in qualifying, is unable to participate in the all-around final.
That's terrible.
Like, I understand the rule. I understand why you might not want to have more than 2 if from a single country. But it's
crushing somebody though, especially when you worked so hard and you are one of the best.
Exactly. It's number 3 in a country, but it's 4th in the world, which means she would, in the all-around competition, have a very good shot at getting a medal. But she's not even allowed to compete for it because she's not top 2 on her team, a completely loaded team. And by the way, do you know how much she did? She missed being top 2 on her team by 0.7 of a point.
Oh God!
0.67 points.
I mean, that's just. I mean, I can't even imagine the feeling that would just cause. I mean, crushing. Truly.
Yeah. Like, I get it. Like, you could say, okay, well, She should have done better. Okay, yeah, but then somebody would have been left out of these three American athletes. Like the rule is dumb. America has three. I think it's fair to say three of the top five. Without a doubt, three of the top five female gymnasts in the world.
Absolutely.
But apparently, only two of them can compete for a gold medal. That's just a dumb rule. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it should be about having the best athletes in the world there. That should be the number one, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, as for the standings in the all around, it was Simone Biles on top of the world in qualifying, with turning in a score on the vault of a 15.8, which is if you're not entirely familiar with how gymnastics works, there's 10 points in terms of like not making mistakes. So you start out with 10 points and you get like small deductions for every mistake that you make. And then you also can get more points based on the difficulty of your routine, and a 15 is elite. It's very, very hard to get a 15. Simone Biles in the vault, just an amazing vault, 15.8. On the uneven bars, a 14.433, on the balance beam, a 14.733, and on the floor, a 14.6. And with the vault, it's also important to note she was kind of limping before it. After her floor routine, she had kind of gotten banged up warming up for it, I believe, and she was kind of limping around. Still managed to do just a brilliant vault. Just incredible stuff.
Yeah, didn't she have calf pain? I heard.
Yes, it was calf pain. Yes,
and yet she was incredible. So I mean, it just shows how incredible she is as an athlete.
She got the top score in the world by almost 2 points on a taped up leg with calf pain.
Yeah. Imagine what she could do without
She
that.
was limping, and she got almost 2 points better than anyone else in the world.
Yeah, it's incredible. Do you know what the like theoretical max score for her vault was?
So there's technically not a maximum score. I believe that, like, the points for difficulty could theoretically be infinite, I believe, but that's I don't actually know what the record is for that. I'll try to find that.
There's not like a set you add, like you can only add this amount of points if it's this trick.
I mean, I think based on like the specific tricks that it is, yes, there is, but not like, yeah.
Right. So I guess what I was asking is like, what is the max score she could get for her set that she did?
I'm afraid that I am unfortunately not an expert on different types of jumps. I wish I was, but I'm not. And then there's also, of course, the qualifying for the different apparatus finals, so that's the top 8 gymnasts, but again, just the top 2 per country qualify for the apparatus finals. So in the vault, it's Simone Biles on top. The other American that qualified was Jade Carey. Now, once again, Jordan Childs finishes in this apparatus in 4th place in the world, but 3rd among Americans, so cannot participate. And it's really tragic that she essentially doesn't have a good path to getting medals at these Olympics.
No, not at all. As long as there's 2 people ahead of her on the US team, there's really nothing she can do, and that's not really fair, in my opinion.
No. Then so that's the vault. In the uneven bars, this was less great for the United States. Just Suni Lee qualified for the vault. Oh, sorry, for the uneven bars. Among Americans for those finals, Simone Biles was close with the 433. She finished in 9th, but really throughout the entire competition, the uneven bars there were just some incredible performances. It was probably the best apparatus in terms of all around scores and performances. Then on the balance beam, it's Biles and Suni Lee qualifying there. And on the floor, Jordan Giles she did qualify for the floor finals, as well as Simone Biles from the United States.
That's good. At least she gets to participate in some of the.
Well, yeah, and then of course she'll get to participate in the team final too on Tuesday, where she'll likely get a gold medal. So it's not like everything is lost for her.
No,
but just to highlight how amazing Simone Biles is. Simone Biles, when she went this morning, the final apparatus that she did was the uneven bars. She only needed an 8.401 to take the lead in the all around.
Wow.
At the time.
Which would be a terrible score.
Yeah, it would be a terrible score. Jade Carey on the floor routine, I think it was the floor routine, fell, just completely fell, and she still got over a 10.
Wow.
It's hard to get a score that's that low. Of course, she got a score significantly higher than that. She got a 14. But
so that just means her lead is just worlds above anybody else.
Yes, I mean, she was. It was completely ridiculous. And then, Suni Lee also, she got on the vault. She got a 14.133. Right, score above a 14. It's generally pretty good. It was the worst score from the U.S. of any of the 4 U.S. Gymnasts that did the vault. Just a complete embarrassment of riches for the U.S. team.
Wow.
They're so good. So we'll have, of course, the final for that coming up on Tuesday. We can't wait to talk about that. We can wait to talk about the men's final tomorrow, because the U.S. is going to be an absolute disaster, I'm predicting.
Really? I don't know much about the men's final at all.
They way underperformed in qualifying so badly that they only had one athlete qualify in one of the apparatus finals in the pommel horse final.
Oh,
they did as a team qualify for the team final, and they had 2 qualify for the all-around final, but still that's a maximum of 4 medals, whereas for the women it's a maximum of I believe 10. So
holy shit. Wow. And
language that we are live.
Oh yeah, that's unfortunate. Yikes. We might have to remove that once it uploads.
Don't worry, it's not like we haven't clipped other things this week.
That's true. That was an unfortunate slip up.
All right, I think we'll move on from gymnastics, unfortunately, because it was an absolute joy to talk about gymnastics, to talk about, Zach, somewhere else that the Americans did very, very well in today, and that was the pool.
Oh yeah.
I guess, unsurprisingly, that the Americans did well in the pool. That's, kind of one of the things that
one of our things
that they're known for, shall we say. But several medals that the Americans were able to capture in the pool today. First, it was the men's 400-meter individual medley final. This was won by the Frenchman, Leon Marchand, who very nearly, he did break the Olympic record, I believe. Very nearly broke his own world record, but he broke the Olympic record that was held. Sorry, he did not. He was close. No, I'm wrong again. He did. He broke the Olympic record. There we go. That's the correct information. That was held by Michael Phelps. And
oh wow, okay.
Whenever you're breaking a Michael Phelps record, you're probably doing something good.
Yes, you're probably doing something very good.
And it was also the home crowd was just so clearly behind him, and like it'll be great to see that for the U.S. in Los Angeles in 2028 when the Olympics are there. Their swimmers being able to have that level of support, but the U.S. did manage to get a bronze medal in this event. That was Carson Foster, and then Tomoyuki Matsushita from Japan won the silver medal in this event.
In which event was this?
It's the men's 400 individual medley, so 100 meters of butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle swimming.
Oh yeah. Oh right.
And then there were two other gold medal finals in swimming today. We had the 100-meter butterfly final. This was something that back in the Olympic trials this year, Gretchen Walsh, the American, set the world record for. And then she had another really good time in the heats yesterday. So she had and still does have the 3 best times ever in the history of the women's 100-meter butterfly event to be contested anywhere in the world, the 3 best times in the world.
Wow.
However, she was not able to repeat that today. She got the silver medal. Her teammate, Tori Husk, who missed the podium by just, I believe, a couple hundredths of a second back in the Tokyo Olympics. She won the gold this time. So the U.S. 1-2'd in this event, got the gold and the silver, and then the Chinese swimmer finished in 3rd.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so the U.S. has just been doing really well at swimming all around.
Yeah, where were the Australians today in the pool? The correct answer to that is that these aren't their events. I would still
and
guess
yesterday we beat them as well.
Well, yeah, I would guess that Australia will probably still end up with more gold medals in the pool when all is said and done than the U.S., but I think that the U.S. will definitely have more overall pool medals, or more swimming medals overall. The other swimming event today, or the other swimming final today, I should say, was the men's 100-meter breaststroke, and this was a wild, wild, wild race. One of the best I've seen. Let's see, we had Niccolò Martineghi of Italy win this race. However, the top 6 people in this race were separated by less than 0.3 of a second.
Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah. The top 4 in this race,
up there.
Yeah, the top 4 in this race were separated by 8 hundredths of a second.
Wow.
And
so it was extremely close.
It was more than that. There was a tie for second place. 2 silver medals awarded, one to Nick Fink of the United States, one to Adam Peaty of Great Britain, because it was tied.
How do you even get a tie? What are the margins for that?
It's measured in hundredths of seconds. I do not think that for swimming they go further than I don't think they go further than that.
Wow. So they would have had to have been within 1/100th of a second.
Yeah. Both. Yeah. 59.05 seconds for both of them. 2/100ths of a second behind the gold medal winner from Italy, Niccolò Martineghi.
Holy wow. That's insane.
Yeah. This was the best race of the day in the pool. But that's 4 medals for the United States in the pool, 2 bronze, 1 silver, and 1 gold today to add on to their total in the pool yesterday, with Katie Ledecky getting a bronze, the U.S. women's 4x100 relay team getting a silver, and the U.S. men's 4x100 relay team getting a gold. So that's 7 medals in the pool already for the United States.
Wow, it must have been incredible to watch that as well. I unfortunately couldn't, but I'm guessing you did.
Yeah, all the swimming finals. Yeah, swimming finals. We have more swimming finals tomorrow as well, kind of midday, starting about 11:30 p.m. Pacific time, 2:30 on the East Coast. We'll have the women's 400 meter individual medley. We'll have the men's 200 meter freestyle. We'll have the men's 100 meter backstroke, the women's 100 meter breaststroke, and the women's 200 meter freestyle. So some top events coming up tomorrow in swimming. The swimming competition will continue for about the next week, and then that final week of the Olympics is when the track and field competitions really get the spotlight.
Oh yeah, and the track and I personally really like the track and field competitions, especially the 100 meter is one of my favorites to watch. I think
and
it's
the
a lot
U.S.
of fun.
has a legitimate shot at winning that this year with Noah Lyles running.
Yeah, he's incredible. Hasn't he set the 200-meter world record multiple times?
Is that not Usain Bolt? Is that not still Usain Bolt?
I thought at one point it was Noah Lyles. I'm not sure if it.
The men's 200-meter world record is 19.19 seconds set by Usain Bolt.
Who was it before that?
Before Bolt, definitely not Noah Lyles because he has not been around that long.
That's true. Huh.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that that's the case. Like Lyles, I think though does have a legitimate shot at winning the 100 meter, the 200 meter. But of course, we'll talk about the track and field events more when we get to those in about a week on in these Olympic Games. For now, we'll stick to what's currently going on around the games. Zach, this was the first game of the Olympics for Team USA basketball, and this team. This team confused me for a while leading up to the Olympics because they it feels like they should be too good to fail. But they came
Yeah.
close to some bad teams. I mean, even today they were playing Serbia in the group stage, and Serbia has one, maybe two players who have been NBA All Stars before, whereas the U.S. team, I think, probably
All
10 of them have been NBA All Stars before, and probably the majority of the team has multiple times been an All Star. I think that there's been also 8 NBA MVPs on that team, and four, no, 8 Finals MVPs as well, maybe 7 Finals MVPs. So this team should be good enough to win the gold, and yet they've never really, so far at least, in like the exhibition games leading up to the Olympics, they had never really played up to their potential. But then today they had a very, very slow start against Serbia, but then it really felt like throughout the game you could just see things getting better. I would say I have a lot more confidence today that they could win the gold medal in these Olympics than I did 24 hours ago.
So my question is, has the world gotten really good, or are they just for some reason unbelievably just sort of playing very badly, or just worse than they normally would?
So look, here's the thing. The 1992 Dream Team is obviously considered extremely special in terms of USA basketball because, first of all, that was the first year that professional athletes were allowed to compete in the Olympic Games in basketball for the so we got to see Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, among others, all playing on the same basketball team in the Olympics for Team USA.
Yeah, that would have been
Which is
incredible.
great. And they were a great team. But at the same time, there were single-digit NBA players in 1992 who played on who were playing for other countries in that year's Olympics. There's
Yeah.
a lot more now. I don't know the exact number, but it's
Oh, okay.
dozens and dozens.
But
So
it still shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that close, should it? Though, because I
no,
mean,
the
even
U.S.
if
still
there are
has
one
the
or two on
best.
certain teams,
The U.S. still has the best talent. They have like Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid,
yeah,
among other players. Like
yeah,
that should be more than enough.
yeah.
And
Even against a team with maybe one or two MVPs or really incredible basketball
I think
players,
also
right?
so Steve Kerr, the Warriors coach, also the coach of the USA men's basketball team. I've had some concerns with his style of coaching, honestly, because I feel like he treats it too much like it's the NBA regular season. Where it's like, oh no, we got to spread the minutes around somewhat, and then we got oh wait, let's just take Steph Curry and LeBron James off the court 5 minutes into the game. There's no rule that says that those players can't just play 35 minutes.
Yeah.
You're a better team with them on the court. Now, you're a much better team with Kevin Durant on the court. Kevin Durant at the Olympics, or really just playing for Team USA in general, might be the greatest player of all time.
Really?
An unbelievable game today. He's always had success when playing for the US. And today was no exception. He's still coming off that injury, so I don't really have an objection to his minutes being limited today. But hopefully by the end of this tournament, he'll be playing more minutes. But I feel like from Steve Kerr, I don't really see the sense of urgency. I mean, I see the sense of urgency once it gets to the fourth quarter and you're losing to South Sudan, but based on a true story.
Oh no.
Like at that point, if say that you're playing in a gold medal game and your competition, instead of it being South Sudan, it's Canada.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you're down 10, it's too late.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, okay, now we're just gonna play Curry and LeBron and Durant for the rest of the game. Doesn't matter. You lost your chance.
I mean, isn't it a better strategy as well? I don't know. I could be completely wrong about this, but wouldn't it be a better strategy just to get a big lead at the beginning?
Yeah.
And sort of keep it until half, and then maybe you can take some people out in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that was confusing to me about this game, and you're right, by the way, in general, but it's that the one player that they kept in the game a lot was the player who was today probably hurting your team more than anybody else, and that was Joel Embiid. I don't know what's been going on with him, but it was the difference between when he was on the court and when he was off the court was night and day. I don't know what the reasoning is. It's maybe something to do with spacing or something for running your offense or whatever. I don't know, but either way, it just looked a lot better with him off the court. I would definitely reduce his minutes. And hey, you know what? You just had you have somebody on your team who is arguably the best player on the team that won the NBA Finals this year in Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Know how many minutes he got today?
How many?
0.
0?
0.
Why?
0 minutes.
Why?
You have a roster of 12 top-tier NBA players. Use them.
Yeah. Why?
Like, sure, use the ones that you think are best for the system that you've created more, but use your players because you also, in 2028, if Steve Kerr is still the coach of the U.S. men's national team, which if he coaches the way that he's been coaching so far in 2024, I have a hard time believing he will be. But if he's still the coach, LeBron will be gone, almost certainly. Curry will almost certainly not be playing in the Olympics. Kevin Durant might even be too old to be playing in the Olympics.
So not only is he...
These are your new guys, and these are the guys that you're pissing off.
Yeah. And not only that, he's sort of, in a way, squandering this incredible team that has the potential to do a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's just unfortunate.
That to me made no sense. I said early on in the game today against Serbia when the US went down big early, I said Steve Kerr should be coaching for his job today. And that was definitely premature because the team was able to turn it around today. But at the same time, the United States has not lost the gold medal in men's basketball since 2004.
That's 20 years.
Yeah. This is the best Olympic team that you have had since at least 2008. And there's a strong argument to be made that they could be better than that 2008 Redeem team. And I'm not making that argument. There's a case to be made that they're the best men's basketball Olympic team since the Dream Team in '92, or at least since '96.
Would you also
If
say that in
you don't
terms of
win
the
the gold
world,
medal, if you don't win the gold medal this year, he has to be fired. I'm sorry. You can't keep the expectation for Team USA in basketball is you win the gold medal.
But would you also say that the world as a whole, other than the US, is probably the best it's ever been? Or
yeah, no, the world is catching up, and they're catching up quickly, and you're not going to be able to keep winning the gold forever in this sport. But given the opportunity that you have this year, you can't mess it up.
You have to, yeah.
You have to do it. Yeah, absolutely no excuse for anything else. In other results in basketball today, we saw in men's basketball, South Sudan took down Puerto Rico, and then in women's basketball, the game went to overtime. China, who was ranked the number 2 country in the world in women's basketball, behind, of course, the U.S., who hasn't lost a game at the Olympics since in 32 years. But China today lost to Spain in overtime. A very dumb ending for China. Spain had the ball, and Spain was up 1, and China just decided, yeah, no, we'll let them just dribble the ball out. We don't want to foul them. Why would we do that? Why would we want to win this game? So they just completely gave the game away. It was a very perplexing decision to me. And then Serbia beat Puerto Rico in women's basketball. And then tomorrow coming up, the U.S. women in basketball, they play their first game against Japan, 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So that should be a fun game. Again, like I said, the U.S. has not lost a women's basketball game at the Olympics since, I don't know, I'm bad at math. What was 32 years ago? 1992.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't think that they will this year either. That this is one area, women's sports, it's still an area that the world has not caught up in. That is, at this point, the U.S.'s biggest advantage left at the Olympics. Like, they're going to get some medals in men's competition, but in women's competitions is where the U.S. really dominates. And that's not just basketball. That's other sports. Obviously, we've seen it with gymnastics. We've seen it to some extent with swimming, although there are still some good swimmers in men's side. We've seen it. We'll get to fencing in a minute. Actually, you know what? Let's go to fencing now, Zach. Today, it was the men's épée and the women's foil, and we saw the United States not just take home a medal here, Zach, in women's foil.
Yeah.
We saw them in gold and silver.
Wow. That's
Lee Kiefer and Lauren Scruggs getting gold and silver respectively. Kiefer got gold in Tokyo, so not entirely surprising, but Lauren Scruggs, a complete surprise that she got there. There were a few controversies in her matches getting up to that point, but overall, she looked very, very solid, though completely outmatched in that gold medal final. And then Canada got the bronze, whereas in men's épée, Japan, Koki Kano with the gold, Yannick Borel from France with the silver, and Mohamed El Sayed from Egypt with the bronze medal.
Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah. So the U.S. did really well in fencing. That's strange, isn't it? Or is it for women's? I know for men it's not.
It's surprising. It's surprising.
So the U.S. has really upped their game in women's fencing, I guess, this year.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that the U.S. would win a gold medal heading into these Olympics in fencing. If there was somebody, I would have said, yeah, it would probably be Lee Kiefer. But Lauren Scruggs is shocking, and also kind of shocking. He was a man yesterday. In the men's saber in the round of 32. He was arguably the favorite to win the gold, Eli Dershowitz.
Yeah.
I picked against him because he has a history of doing stuff like this, but he lost in the round of 32.
Oh.
So it's a bad Olympics for him and his one main, and I think only event. He actually, I think he does the team event as well. But they might. I think the U.S. is not done with medals in fencing, but I would guess that they're done with golds in fencing.
But at least we got one.
At least we got one and a silver in the same event.
Yeah, which is a big deal.
Came completely out of left field. Let's move on to soccer, or as they call it at the Olympics, football.
Which makes more sense in general. For many reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a women's football day. Canada got a win over France, but they're still in trouble because of their points deduction from the drone scandal, Zach.
Drone scandal?
Yeah, this is when they you were on the live stream when we discussed Canada getting the sending up drones to spy on their opponents' practices, right?
Which live stream was that?
I think on Friday.
I may have not been there, and if you talked about it at the beginning, I probably wasn't there.
Okay, yeah, I think we did. Yeah, so they've lost 6 points in the group, which makes it it's going to be difficult for them to advance out of the group, but not fully impossible. The US though, US women, I am very, very impressed. I did not fully believe in this team going into this Olympics. They've had a rough couple of years, but this is the first major tournament under new head coach Emma Hayes, and they got the win again over Germany, another women's soccer powerhouse. They beat, and this was not just any old win. They won by 3. This was a great game by this team. Goals by Lynn Williams, Mallory Swanson, and then 2 goals from Sophia Smith. I truly believe that the United States could win the gold medal in women's soccer. After watching this game, this looked like a team that could win gold.
That's a really big deal considering the other countries that are in this.
Exactly, and like if you had told me 3 years ago that entering the Olympics in 2024, I would have been surprised to see the US up on the podium at all in women's soccer. I've been like, wait, what happened to the team? But that's where I was coming into these Olympics, and that's not where I am anymore.
Yeah. Wow. Seems like the US and maybe some other countries as well have really upped their game in sports that are kind of strange for that country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the US women have always been good at soccer. Zach, they won the World Cup in 2019, in 2015, and
but in fencing as well, and
sure, fencing. But like the US women, the expectation has to be gold in every tournament that they go into, but they've just struggled recently, and I don't know exactly what there is to it, like why, but it's undeniable the struggles that they have had. And it's really good to see them. It looks like they're finally putting something together. That front 3 of Mallory Swanson, Trinity Rodman, and Sophia Smith is a group that is very, very easy to like, very easy to believe in. The support in the midfield with the captain, Lindsay Horan, Rose Lavelle, a great goalie, and Alyssa Nair. I think the team's in a very healthy place at the moment.
That's good. That's really good. So they were the favorites or not?
Not going into this tournament, no. They were not even really projected to win a medal.
Beforehand, though, were they considered one of the best teams?
In past years, yes.
In past years, did they have Megan Rapinoe?
Rapinoe, yes.
Rapinoe. So yeah, I mean, and they lost her, which is a big deal. So
Zach, I want to point out that by saying her name, you've literally just lost all credibility you have in terms of soccer. But
that's unfortunate. Well, I mean, I already have said multiple times that I didn't really watch all of the Olympics today or other days.
Yeah, no, I know. I know that I too, and I'm the one on the podcast who has by far watched the most events. Charlie's watched several events. Morris has watched a couple. I know you've watched a few.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten up very early in the morning, which is why I'm kind of giving the rundown on all of them, despite the
Yeah.
fact that I am extremely sleep deprived.
Yes. Of your own doing, but yes.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
Yes. Okay, good. Because yeah, I think the reason, I mean, I'm very thankful for it though, because I don't think any of us would be willing to do that. Wake up at 2 a.m. to watch the Olympics.
But sure, but the other thing is like, I know like we wouldn't be doing these live streams if like everyone on the podcast wasn't interested in to some extent in the Olympics. But I also know that my interest goes above and beyond any of yours in this event or
Yeah.
in this series of events.
And definitely your dedication to watching them, for sure.
It only happens once every 4 years, in my defense.
True, but as I've told you, it's not like the footage goes away.
Yes, but the novelty of seeing it does.
Not if you watch it near the time it happened. I mean, it's not like you're in a stadium where, if you miss something, then you won't, then, there's all this.
Yeah, and this does remind me too. I've been rewatching the opening ceremony. I've been rewatching it with my mom, who knows quite a bit about Paris. She lived in Paris for a semester in college. She's been there a lot. She really just knows the city really well, knows the history of the city pretty well. And I have to say, hearing her perspective on it as someone who knows the city well as just seeing it again and like taking it in better, I've got to say I like it a lot more than I originally did. And I originally was very, very high on it, but now I'm like, the
Really?
only thing stopping this from being the greatest ceremony of all time was the rain.
Really?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Just
Like,
rewatching specifically the artistic portions of it were they were so well done.
Yeah, they were, but I think they're always pretty well done.
Sure, but I think more than ever, and especially the way that they just show off both the city now and the history of the city, I think is just so well done. And the music choices, the huge variety of music, just really, really well done. And I'm going to say this too. I rewatched the part with the minions. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It was funny.
Hot takes.
It was charming. And when I originally roasted it on the podcast on the live stream a couple days ago, I did not realize that the minions were actually from France, or that they came from a studio that was based in France. So
it makes more sense.
It makes a lot more sense to me now. Like it's not just some completely random thing.
Yeah, I mean, I also didn't think it was that bad, but I thought it was funny to roast it because it was sort of a goofy piece in what was like all very well put together.
Oh, it's definitely roastable. Let's get back to the games today. Let's talk about archery. We had the team event in women's archery today. Domination from South Korea.
Well, it was close though, somewhat. I mean, it got close-ish, I would say. Like there was a chance that China, maybe
it went to a what's the right term? Sudden death, I guess, or
they called it a
shoot-off.
Yeah,
I don't know what the term is. South Korea jumped out to a big lead. China came back and it went to a shoot-off or whatever it's called. But South Korea won the gold again. This event, the first year that this event was part of the Olympics, the women's team archery event was 1988. South Korea won the gold medal in 1988. South Korea also won the gold medal in 1992, 1996, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020/2021, and now in 2024.
They have never lost the gold medal in the history of the competition.
Yep.
So.
For those keeping track at home, that's all of the Olympics since it's become an event.
Yeah. And it hasn't really been close, I don't think.
No. This was arguably the biggest chance anyone had to dethrone them.
Yeah, which is a big deal, because maybe that means that next Summer Olympics, China maybe has a possible shot, no pun intended, at winning.
I mean, one day they will lose the event.
Yeah, that's just how it works. But
all good things have to come to an end at some point.
Mm-hmm. Although they've definitely prolonged it for quite a long time.
Just like we have with this live stream.
Yes, we have. Yes.
It's okay. We still have some things to get through, and then we'll get off of here. But that's archery for you. Today we will let's talk about the water polo competition today in the Olympics. This is the first day of men's water polo in the Olympics. We saw Spain get a win. We saw Serbia get a win. We saw Hungary get a win. We saw Greece get a win. Croatia, Italy got a win. The United States, for their dominance in women's water polo, that just has not translated to the men's side. They never medal in this event. It does not happen. I mean, it's a battle for the U.S. to get out of the group stage here.
Yeah. Wow. In water polo?
Yeah, in water polo.
Do we normally do well in that? I haven't.
Not in men's at all. Not in men's. In women's, no one beats us.
Wow, that's a difference. Is that because the rest of the world is really bad in women's, or is it because?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But I mean, also they're just really good, the women's team.
But in men's,
one other quick note. Where was it? I think it was at the gymnastics event today with Simone Biles and the rest of the U.S. women, but it might have been at some other event earlier. But it's a very unlikely celebrity duo sitting together, cheering on the U.S. team.
Who was it?
Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Okay, and I could give you literally a million guesses, and you would never guess the other person.
Okay. Who is it?
First Lady Jill Biden.
Okay. Sitting like right next to each other?
Yeah, next to each other, cheering on some U.S. Olympic team.
I mean, there's something kind of brilliant about that.
Yes, there is.
There's something kind of brilliant about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's talk equestrian. I didn't watch it again. Hooray! It shouldn't be an Olympic sport.
Right.
We'll talk about it tomorrow when a medal is handed out in eventing.
Why don't you think it should be an Olympic sport?
Because it's horses. Horses don't have a nationality or a sense of national pride.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know. I guess I see where you're coming from, but I don't think it's that big of a thing. On the other hand, like stuff that they're thinking about adding, like esports, is.
Yes. Can I also just say, dressage might be the single most boring thing anyone ever created.
I think that's controversial. I think that's a very controversial take there.
Zach, this is the dictionary definition of dressage: the art of riding and training a horse in a manner that develops obedience, flexibility, and balance. That's an Olympic sport that they broadcast on TV.
Yeah.
That sounds exciting to you? Watching somebody train a horse and to make it obedient.
I mean, I just looked it up. I have watched it. It's not the most interesting sport, but I do think it is kind of interesting.
You can watch it then. You can be our resident dressage correspondent.
You like curling. You like watching curling. In fact, yes, there's a lot of people who like watching curling.
It's a great sport. Well, sorry, I can't believe it's a sport, but it's extremely entertaining.
Yes, yeah, but also to say it's your favorite Olympic sport,
it is.
I think, yeah, that's just objectively wrong in my opinion, or Olympic game, I should say.
Yeah. I there's no universal preference on sports, although I think dressage is certainly an interesting one to be an Olympic sport. But like, curling's entertaining. I think it's really entertaining.
Yeah, I would agree, but I think favorite out of all the Olympic sports, I can't get behind you on that one.
Agree to disagree. Okay. Enough about the Winter Olympics. What else do we have to talk about here? We can talk about badminton a little bit. Here at the Olympics, another day of action, and we've again seen U.S. athletes mostly fail. Again, the United States has never gotten a medal in badminton, and today they didn't exactly make any progress towards that feat today.
No, I watched some of the women's badminton doubles.
Yeah.
And yeah, US was kind of crushed by China. So
yep,
like seriously crushed.
Yep. Let's see. We had prelims in boxing today. We won't get into that too much in the interests of time and in the interests of my interest in boxing. We've talked fencing. Let's talk some canoe slalom. We had the finals today in the women's kayak whitewater canoe slalom, and is Jessica Fox bringing home the gold for Australia. Claudia Zwolinska of Poland bringing home silver, and Kimberly Woods of Great Britain bringing home the bronze. This was an event that I feel like the U.S. could have done better in, but their athlete in this event, Evie Leibfarth, crashed out badly in the semifinals, unable to qualify for the finals even.
Oh wow. Do you know what happened maybe?
Yeah, I think they missed a bunch of gates.
Nothing
else to it. You can't miss a bunch of gates and expect to win the competition.
Yeah.
That was all for canoe slalom today. We'll have the men's canoeing final tomorrow, and then it switches to the men's kayak and the women's canoe for the next few days after that. Then near the end of these Olympics, we'll see the canoe sprinting events. Today we also saw the first mountain biking event, which I always like mountain biking at the Olympics just because it's so different in terms of terrain from any of the other cycling events. It's really all sorts of wild terrain, and this is the women's mountain biking final today. It was not close. We had Pauline Ferrand-Prévot of France, who's, I believe this is her final career race. She's retiring after it, and she had never won an Olympic medal before. She won gold here by 2 minutes and 57 seconds.
Whoa. She had never won gold before.
Yeah.
That's
2 minutes and 57 seconds. Left everybody else just in the dust. Haley Batten, an American, finished second, which was a nice surprise, unexpected medal for the United States there. And then Jenny Rissveds finishing in third for Sweden. Moving on away from cycling, talked fencing. We've talked football. We've talked gymnastics. Let's talk some field hockey and let's talk some handball, Zach.
Yeah, let's do it. I didn't watch either of these, but I'm sure you did and have lots of things to say.
Actually, I didn't watch a ton of either of these. I was busy watching other things today, but I did watch some. We saw a draw between South Africa and Great Britain in field hockey. Netherlands defeated France. This was not quite the day for France as it was yesterday. They except for obviously their swimmer, but everyone else was underperformed, I guess you could say. Spain beat Germany, Belgium beat New Zealand. The Spain women beat Great Britain, Australian women beat South Africa, Germany women beat Japan, Belgium women beat China, and then in handball, Hungary beat Brazil in women's. This was all women's in handball today. It was a close one. Slovenia beat Korea, Sweden beat Germany, Norway beat Denmark, and Angola got a win that was surprising to me, but over Spain, so pretty good win there. And then France beat the Netherlands. They were behind for a while, ended up getting the win, unless I'm mistaken. Let's see what else. What else did the Americans do well in today?
Not hockey, from the looks of it.
No, because they don't have a hockey team. Oh yeah, tennis. Let's talk a little bit about tennis. Rafael Nadal. His career, or at least his Olympic journey, it's unclear if this will be his last career event, will continue. He did get a win today, obviously dominant on the clay surface. Andy Murray, he said that this is going to be his final event, doubles with Daniel Evans. They got a win. He saved 5 match points in a match tiebreaker to win and advance to rescue his career. Frankly, that's not an understatement.
Really?
I mean, he is retiring at the end of the event, so if he loses,
well, yeah. I mean, why would it be a career rescue though? Like,
I mean, he gets to continue his career.
Oh, you mean he's retiring if he doesn't do well in this?
No, like either way, he's retiring.
So then why is it saving his career?
Well, he won, which means he gets to play another match.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, Coco Gauff, another American that did really well. I really think Coco Gauff has played well in both singles and doubles on the clay surfaces before. I really think she has a good shot to get a medal in singles and probably a medal in doubles too in these Olympics. Really like where she's at in her game at the moment. Think that there's medals coming for her. What else? A couple medals handed out in judo today. These are for both men's and women's, the second to smallest weight classifications, and the medals that we had. Judo again they have 2 bronze medals for all of theirs, but so in men's today it was gold going to Japan, Brazil getting silver, and then Moldova and Kazakhstan getting the bronze, and then in women's the bronzes went to France and Brazil, and then the gold went to Uzbekistan, and Kosovo won the silver medal. Zach, those weren't exactly countries I was expecting to be getting medals in these Olympics.
No, I mean I don't know, but I'm guessing that they probably weren't favorites at all.
No, it's also the start of the U.S. of the women's rugby competition, and the U.S. women look very good. They look like a team that could medal in this event.
Rugby.
So, yeah, in rugby. So really, really, really good signs out of Team USA today. We had 2 other sports with medals that we'll talk about quickly. Then we'll finish with beach volleyball and volleyball before signing off. Start with skateboarding. It's a rough performance for the couple of Americans that made it to the finals, but in the women's street final with Japan, they went 1-2 in this event. Brazil gets the bronze, but 2 Americans that ended up this event finishing 5th and 6th. The good news, They're both young. They'll absolutely be back in the 2028 Olympics in front of the home crowd, and it was frankly a good step forward for U.S. women's skateboarding. And then in shooting today, we had these were before even I woke up. We had gold in men's air pistol going to China, with Italy getting the bronze and silver, and then Korea 1-2ing in the women's air pistol, with India getting the bronze. Again, before even I woke up this morning. And then in volleyball, we had the U.S. will not. They won't play, the U.S. women. They won't play till tomorrow. But we had in women's Poland and Italy picking up wins, and then in the men's France and Slovenia, and finally in beach volleyball, the other American female duo. Both of these American female duos, they have real shot. This was the Hughes and Chang duo. They won their match today. So good signs for the U.S. Really, anywhere that you look, Zach, today, really, really good signs for America.
Yeah, and in some sports that really were kind of a surprise.
Yeah, and I think it's also notable that we're seeing these good results for America at the moment, because last year, last Olympics in Tokyo, the first couple days were not kind to the Americans. We saw them. I believe they were shut off the board of medals entirely on the first day of competition last Olympics. We saw the U.S. men's basketball team lose their first game of the Olympics. That's just a complete opposite of what we're seeing in these Olympics. So if that's a sign of what's to come, it's great news for the U.S.
Really great news. Yeah.
And as for that medal count at the moment, it's the U.S. in the lead, 12 medals, 3 bronze, 3 gold, 6 of them silver. As for the gold medal count, Japan and Australia are tied for the lead in that with 4, with then several countries, including the U.S., having 3 gold medals. Those countries are, in addition to the U.S., France, South Korea, and China.
Yeah. It's also been really great for France the last couple of days as well.
Yeah, 8 medals for France.
Yeah.
3 of them gold, like I said, 3 of them silver, a pair of them bronze. Australia, 6 medals, none of them bronze, 4 golds, 2 silvers. Good stuff from Japan too. China's off to a fairly hot start. Italy's off to a good start. Of course, you also just have to take into account, what are the competitions early in the games? Are they ones that these countries typically thrive in? And for the U.S., frankly, besides swimming, the answer is kind of no.
So
the U.S. Because the U.S. is especially, like, I feel like they're the strongest in the team events, such as, women's water polo, men's and women's basketball, the volleyball competitions. And like those medals, they won't be coming till the end of the Olympics, but I think we can pretty much say they'll be coming in some color or another. Any final comments before we sign off of here?
I don't think so. Except, make sure to check out our other live streams if you want about other days, and look out for our live stream coming out tomorrow at the same time.
And thanks for joining us on this this 5th day of C&C Talks Live. That's 5 live streams down for the Olympics, and 14 to go here, day 3 of the Olympics. Coming up tomorrow, another stacked day at the Olympics. Events in diving, swimming, water polo, archery, badminton, basketball, boxing, canoeing, mountain biking, equestrian, venting, fencing, field hockey, gymnastics, handball, judo, rowing, rugby, sailing, shooting, skateboarding, surfing, table tennis, beach volleyball, and volleyball. And at the end of tomorrow, like we have for the last 5 days, we'll be here at the same time to break all of it down. So thanks for joining us. Give us a follow on Twitter at C&C Talks Podcast. Give Charlie a follow at C&C Talks Charlie. Join us on Discord, cctalks.com/Discord. Our website is cctalks.com. Episodes out right here on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you listen to podcasts. We should have a new episode coming out in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, though, thanks for joining us for more Zach, Charlie, we will see you tomorrow.